Okay, I'm making a snap decision. I'm changing microphones. I can't do this.
Okay. If it makes you feel any better, I destroyed the power cord to my cheap little ring light that I used to have. It was so stupid. I have more sense than this. I was getting it out of my car, and it was like the cord was like stuck between the seat cushions in the back. And instead of moving the seat cushions, which I easily could have... Oh my god, hi!
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 He appears! He appears!
I appear!
I'm changing microphones!
Welcome to Into the Falls, a Gravity Falls podcast. I'm Mary, and I know lots of things.
I'm AJ, and I know nothing.
This is a podcast where I guide AJ through the wonderful weirdness of Gravity Falls, my favorite show that he has never seen.
If you're a new arrival like me, or looking to relive some crazy summer memories, come with us, and let's dive into the falls.
So, AJ...
Yeah?
I didn't get much sleep last night.
Why's that?
Well, you know the Disney World commercials from like the 90s where the kids are like in bed and they're whispering to each other like, I'm too excited to sleep. And then it cuts to like the parents and the dad's also like, I'm too excited to sleep.
You sleep?
No, too excited.
I heard that.
I've literally seen like 3 Disney VHS tapes with that commercial, so I'm very aware.
Exactly, yeah. I was too excited to sleep. Why was I excited, AJ?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that we've got Jason freaking Ritter on our podcast.
Hey,
Jason Ritter on the podcast.
Woo!
Yeah, again, thank you so much for doing this. Jason actually agreed to do this back in like 2022.
Yes, I did.
And
it's been a long journey.
I did say
yeah.
at the time, like, we don't have a set schedule. I don't know when we're going to record this episode, but like, if there's one that, if you're interested and if there's one that you want to call dibs on, you can go ahead and do that. It's been a year and a half since we recorded our last Gravity Falls episode, which like that's never planned on our part. It just keeps happening.
Life just happens. I mean, I went back to college, so that took up a lot of our time. Mary got into Sonic the Hedgehog, those movies.
I did.
Nice. Oh,
We did an
yeah.
episode about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Life happens. Life gets in the way, you know?
Yeah.
And here we all are. We made it. We made it happen.
Yeah. It's just a big testament, and you know, it's really awesome to finally get back to what our show is actually named after.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's another thing is this is like bringing me back to actually watching Gravity Falls, because this started because it's my favorite show and I want to share it with people who've never seen it. And because of that, when we first started this, I was like, okay, so I'm not going to watch the episode too close to like the recording day because I want it to be fresh in my mind. And then in the back of my head, somehow that became like, I can't watch this until we record the next episode. When in reality, like, I mean, I can definitely watch one that we've already done, and I can watch one where if it's like, we're not going to get to that one for a while. But like lately, because we've had this scheduled, I rewatched all of season 1 up to this point, and I'm just like, I just feel good. I feel so good.
You're back on
Like,
it.
oh, right, this is my favorite show.
Yes. That's
Yeah,
such a fun.
she's way back on it. It's like she's studying up to come back into her role of the one that knows everything. Whereas all the studying that I did leading up to this recording was like Jason Ritter, Jason Ritter, Jason Ritter. You know?
Oh, really? You found out all my stuff, all my
All
secrets.
your secrets.
Yeah.
I started watching Matlock because we're
nice.
doing this. And at first it was like, okay, we're going to record with Jason Ritter. I should like familiarize myself with some of his other stuff outside of Gravity Falls. And then I got so into it that I like forgot you were on it. So like, unless you or Beau Bridges are on screen, I like forget that you're on that show because I'm so invested in like, is Kathy Bates going to get caught?
I know. It's a really fun show, and Kathy is so amazing, and oh man, it's a really fun journey. That pilot hooks you. You got to be careful. You watch the first one, you're going to watch 2 seasons before you know it.
Yeah. It's on my list because, you know, my Nana really loved the original with Andy Griffith and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's definitely on the list, and I'm kind of attracted to legal dramas, being a Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney fan as well.
Me too. I jokingly and also not jokingly said that most of my preparation for Matlock was playing through every single Ace Attorney game I could get my hands on. And
that's incredible,
nobody
dude.
in that particular audience knew what I was talking about.
But they should.
They should.
If not for the legal dubiousness, entirely for the batshit characters.
Exactly. And it's just so satisfying. I haven't been able to do it, but it's just so satisfying when you get it right and just like the
Yes!
objection. It's
Yes.
so great.
Just hits you in your core and you're just like, yes. So
And I
primal.
wish that, like the idea of catching someone in a lie and having them react like they've been punched or something, like, it's so satisfying.
It's incredible, but
I love
I'm
those
sure
games.
that would be weird in a show like that.
I got into the Ace Attorney games through the Professor Layton games.
Oh, that's
You know,
incredible.
But they had that crossover, and I never had assumed that I would like a lawyer game. But then I had so much fun in that crossover that I went back through and played all the Miles Edgeworth and all the...
Yeah, that's
I love
great,
them.
dude. Yeah. Ace Attorney, Professor Layton, a deep subset of my like Nintendo DS heyday back in middle school and stuff.
Exactly.
When Gravity Falls was on the air.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but the show premiered like right after I graduated 8th grade, and it ended right
Wow.
before I graduated high school.
Oh my gosh, how perfect.
My
Oh, yeah.
entire adolescence, basically.
I love that. It definitely was a different experience watching it as it came out and discovering things as like a little community, people trying to figure out the codes and what this means. And it's also fun. I've like watched it with my daughter a couple of times and we just plow through, but I can't wait until she gets a little bit older and I can start showing her all the little secrets behind.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Getting to share it in that way with your family, I'm sure is like so satisfying.
It is.
Especially
really
when she's like, man, that's daddy on the TV?
I know, exactly. It's very weird for her. She also has a funny thing where I can talk in Dipper voice, but I cannot. If I ever say her name, she's like creeped out because she's like something about that. Yeah. It's like that world is not my world, and if you bring me into it, something is very weird about it to her. So I can talk to her, I can do all that stuff, but as soon as I mention her name, she's like, please don't. I hate
Can't
that.
exist in that universe.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's fun to maybe screw with her a little bit like that.
Yeah, just say it's bedtime. Time to brush your teeth. It's really fun. She likes it, and it's nice to have something that she can see and enjoy. And now that she's old enough to not be so super creeped out by some of the weird elements, some of which you haven't even seen. If you're still in season 1, it definitely gets creepier.
Yeah,
You
we are.
kind of
It's
get the
been
general vibe, but
yeah, it's been really good. A lot of funny moments so far in season 1. And I guess I should talk about sort of my frame of reference because I've had sort of an experience like that, but it was with the DuckTales revival.
Yep.
So I sort of had that experience being in the fandom, watching the show as it came out, and really experiencing all the twists and all the turns. And I think we'd mentioned it in a couple episodes ago that Gravity Falls sort of kind of paved the way for that kind of animated show for that sort of generation, because all the episodes are self-contained, like in the 90s and the 2000s, and it's sort of like a gag an episode, but Gravity Falls and then sort of the shows that were around that, Steven Universe, were sort of like, we can tell this big overarching story that really hooks fans in, and we can make them fans for life,
Yeah, I mean, I think that was one of the things that was so wonderful about Alex Hirsch is that he respected, I think he is very familiar with being an audience member, and he knew that people will find the clues if you put them in there. And he really, I feel like he respected the audience and gave them enough to show the whole world that, like, yeah, people have the attention span for this. You don't have to just go. And also, now that we're not living in a world anymore where, you know, back in the old days, you catch an episode or you don't. And then if someone like recorded it on a VHS, then maybe. But if you missed an episode, it was really hard to see it unless there was a rerun day or something like that. They had to make TV shows and cartoons a little bit more self-contained. And now that a lot of people are watching things all in a row and binging it, I think the entire world of television and animation has allowed for more overarching mysteries and all things. I mean, Matlock too. We were able to have a whole big mystery that goes over 2 seasons of a show because people can now watch it in order if they want. They don't just have to go, oh, what's this Thursday? Do I have to know anything before? So it's fun. I mean, and still they both have that thing where you can enjoy one episode in and of itself, but the rewards for the people who are watching it in order are nice for those of us who do that.
Yeah, definitely.
You seem drawn to shows about old people with secrets. Is something I've noticed.
You know, they're the ones who have the most. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah.
They've lived the most.
They've lived the most. You collect, the secrets in your life sort of aggregate, at a certain point, and then you die with most of them.
My great-grandfather, he served in World War I, and for most of his life never talked about it. And my dad said that, like, sometime in the 90s, when he was getting up there, he was like 96 years old, my dad was asking some other extended family, like, what did he, like, experience in the war? And they're like, oh, he doesn't want to talk about it. He never wants to talk about it. He's like, They're like, do not ask. He's like, he's 96 years old. If I don't ask, we will never know. And he asked, and my great grandpa apparently was very ready to tell his story, and just no one knew it up to that point.
That is incredible.
And the story's incredible too. And I wish I could remember every detail of it, but basically he was fighting in Germany and somehow was separated from his like platoon troop, whatever that is. And was like temporarily blinded, and 2 German soldiers actually helped him get back to an American camp, or at least an English-speaking camp.
Whoa! Wow. Oh my God!
He was blinded. They didn't speak English. He didn't speak German, so they brought him to a German camp and asked their commanding officer, like, "What do we do with him?" And the commanding officer's like, "I guess find an American camp," and somehow they did, because he woke up and he was.
That is, he had to really, he had to trust those guys. I mean, that's lucky that they were trustworthy. Yeah. Not like in the middle of a war, you never know. And especially if he's temporarily blind and he can't. Wow, that's an incredible story. I guess the
alternative is like, I could be killed by these soldiers, or I could die.
No, if they're saying, you gotta just trust in those moments. But whoa, that's so cool. That's incredible. What a story.
Kind of the beauty about this podcast really is that we could go off in all these different directions. Like, I'm finding out stories from Mary's time in college. I'm telling some stuff, and it all just sort of draws back into the experience of Gravity Falls somehow. And
I think that speaks to how rooted the show is in human experience, despite all the supernatural stuff. Like, you're never going to relate to, oh yeah, one time I found a gremloblin in the woods and we had to defeat it.
So weird. I had gremloblin exactly in my head when you started to say that. Anyway, exactly. But the interpersonal feelings and the sibling relationship and the friends and the crushes and the familial dynamics all feel very real. They're all, 3-dimensional characters.
I mean, watching the show, like I said, it was my whole teenage years. In ways that I will get into as we progress with the show, I really, really related to Mabel in a way that I felt like I couldn't relate to other characters a lot of the time. That has stayed with me, and so I got this.
I love that!
Nice.
That's awesome.
I don't remember if you've shown that to me.
I think I told you I might have sent you a picture, but I don't think I've held it up. And
yeah, that's
cool.
Incredible.
I love that.
I wasn't sure how my parents were gonna feel about it. They've never been hard against tattoos, but they have made jokes about oh, are you gonna get a bunch of tattoos and be I don't even know. But yeah, I showed my mom, and my mom loved it. She's like, oh my god, your pain tolerance. I didn't think you would ever do this. I'm proud of you. And then
the first thing she goes to. That's such a mom move.
I know.
My dad made a joke about how he didn't love it, but he moved on from it very quickly. He's accepted it.
Oh my gosh. That's so awesome. That's so cool. I don't have any tattoos, but my wife has a little dipper tree on her wrist.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, you should get a Beatrice.
I should. That's a great one.
AJ hasn't seen Over the Garden Wall either. We're gonna fix that at some point.
That's next. Into the Walls.
We are literally following the
literally
template of Mystery Shack Look Back and Garden Wall Recall.
Exactly. That's a great one too. That is. I mean, that show is so beautiful as well.
Maybe when I finally get out of the Zootopia fandom, we can get to Over the Garden Wall. We'll see.
Okay.
More than one.
That's true. You can jump around.
Yeah, that is also true.
We used to, in the Tumblr days, we used to have whole lists of all the fandoms we were in, so people knew whether they wanted to follow you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'll admit, I follow 15 different tags on Tumblr, so I'm spread a little thin.
Stop it. Get some help.
So something I ask all of our guests is what's their history with the show. Obviously, we know your history. But I was kind of wondering because I saw the unaired pilot a while ago, and the continuity, mystery element isn't really there as much. Journal 3 is not Journal 3. It's a Ripley's Believe It or Not kind of thing. But that is your voice in the
that is my voice in the original pilot. And to me, at that point, it just seemed like a fun, spooky show, almost like, I don't know. I can't think of an exact example, but just a different spooky thing would happen, like a kid's X-Files or something like that, where you just see a new unexplained phenomenon, cryptid, something like that. I had no idea that there was going to be a bigger mystery. Once the first 3 episodes started to air, and people started to go, "Who's this guy in the background?" pointing out Blandon, and I
did not catch that at the time.
Neither did I. I totally didn't. It was fully the internet groupthink that clued me into most of the mysteries of Gravity Falls, except until I got to points where I was, I could read the script and see, what was coming. But yeah, I have always loved animation. It was really fun to do a voice in a cartoon, and this one was super fun. And Kristen Schaal, I knew. I mean, not personally, but I, was a fan of hers. And so it was really fun. And I had no idea what was going to happen with it, because it was just a presentation. I remember when I saw the little sizzle reel of things coming up in the show, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks so exciting and weird, and I can't wait to see what else is going on. But I had no idea there was going to be this whole underground storyline going.
I had that feeling watching the pilot for the first time in 2012, because I remember I was 14, and so I'm like, oh, I'm too old for Disney. But I feel like Disney Channel sitcoms and Disney Channel animated shows are on very different levels, which is not to disparage one over the other.
Right.
Yeah,
just to say that I
are.
feel like the live action stuff is usually more kid oriented, and a teenager doesn't connect to that as much.
Yes.
But the animation tends to be a little more universal. So I gave it a shot. I watched it. I thought it was really funny. And then the ending with the vending machine happened. I'm like, oh.
A second?
They want us to, they really want us to come back. And I kind of need to know what's there.
Yeah, it was, I remember seeing that exact moment at first and going, oh, I wonder what that's going to be. They did a really great job of slowly sort of drawing you in and not sort of scaring new people away by going, this is a show that you have to really pay attention to every single thing, but just going, there's more going on here than meets the eye. And so by the time you get to the Time Traveler's Pig and you go back and you look at, if you missed them the first time, if you go back into those first 3 episodes, you're like, wow, that was the first time where I thought, oh, this is because also it's a cartoon, you have to plan way ahead to lay those things in. And it was exciting to watch a show where the creator has clearly been thinking about it and planning and dropping clues clues and doing a great job of sort of just saying, keep your eyes open. And I think he also, like I said before, respecting the audience, I think he knows that there are many of us out there when we're playing video games or watching things that we go check out the areas that you're maybe not supposed to go. We're looking for clues in the corners and in the backgrounds. And so for him to reward that kind of exploration was really exciting. You go, whoa, I looked in a weird corner. I paused on this part of the book so I could read it, and someone actually wrote something. It's not just squiggles. He was rewarding that kind of curiosity, and I love that.
Little things like that definitely enhance the experience. Like you were talking about that, and the first thing that came to mind was Metal Gear Solid. That one level where you notice, oh, this part of the wall's been very hastily painted over. What if I lay a bomb here? What'll happen?
Exactly. I mean, that laying a bomb against walls goes back for my generation all the way to like The Legend of Zelda. And before there was the internet, you just had to basically collect bombs and just bomb every wall, every labyrinth, burn every tree. You could see one screen at a time. It was a slow, painstaking process, and your curiosity was not always rewarded, but it was so satisfying when it was that I think Alex tapped into that feeling of I looked and something was there.
We were definitely wrong about some of it, and obviously, like again, AJ and I will get into this as it becomes relevant, but I remember there were one or two like really big fan theories that like I wasn't like sure like no, this is definitely going to happen, but I was kind of like in the back of my head like what if this is what's going on, like what if that's going to happen, and then I was actually grateful when they didn't happen. Yeah, because I was like, in retrospect I wouldn't have liked that.
Well, and Alex was diabolical and even like laying out false theories and false leaks to mislead the public in different ways and try to set people on the wrong path as to who the author was and, all these things that I can't talk about yet. I mean, we didn't even know if we were ever going to actually know who the author was when it started. It could have just been like this mysterious book.
We are definitely sort of still in the realm of this mysterious book right now.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we're in the realm of these mysterious books because we know Gideon has one.
That was going to be my next question, because I didn't quite remember if we have more than one journal at this point. We're 18 episodes in. I'm pretty sure we do.
Yes, you definitely have seen that Gideon has book number 2. We don't know where he got it.
Or what he's planning with it.
And we still don't know
what kind of hair gel he uses, but either way, the disturbing thoughts cannot stop planting themselves in my brain.
It's one of my favorite characters in Gravity Falls is Little Gideon. Rip does such a wonderful voice for it. It really makes me laugh every time. Ooh, ooh.
Oh my, was this your chair? I had no idea.
Messing up my head.
That's totally funny because every time Gideon's appeared since his debut, he's kind of made my skin crawl a little bit.
He definitely does that.
He's very, very weird.
Very weird, very unsettling. There's definitely something seriously amiss.
Yeah.
With that boy.
Could be the parents' fault. Could be something that his parents had no way of anticipating. We don't know how it started.
I would definitely be interested in seeing some background into Bud Gleeful and Gideon's mom, who seems disturbed as well.
We did some speculating in the first episode with Gideon in it because his dad is the one doing the voice in the commercial, or at least it's the same voice actor. And so we took that to mean that, like, in universe, his dad is recording this commercial for him. And at the end, he says, Carla, I've always loved you, but I've never had the guts to say it. And then we know that he's married to Gideon's mom. So we're kind of like, wait, but he said that thing about Carla.
Oh, that's interesting.
Is it like his parents' marital strife, or is that just another factor that's contributing to his mom's
that's interesting. This is a smaller known fact, but in that commercial, I do the completely miserable guy. That's me.
I thought that was Alex Hirsch.
No, he goes.
Are you completely miserable? Yes!
And
God.
Every once in a while, Alex would be like, hey, can you do this? And I would give it a shot, and it would either be in the show or not. But that was, I think, one of the only ones that made it in. It's so ridiculous.
That's
so cool.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It's sort of been a running gag on the show, me trying to guess who Alex Hirsch voices other than Stan, because he's in tiny little bits in practically every single episode. It's almost difficult at times trying to pinpoint.
He's amazing. He really can do some wildly different voices. And especially after watching the cartoon, like I didn't see him do any of his voice work like in the booths or anything. I would just come in and do my stuff, and then I don't know when he would do his. But so I got to know all those different separate voices, and it was so bizarre hearing them come from his mouth. It's like watching some of the Simpsons actors, and you're like, whoa, that's sounds exactly, well, it's you. So yeah, of course you do.
Yeah, totally.
That's what we're experiencing right now.
Yeah,
I want to
exactly.
ask, you've had experience with both live acting and voice acting. Do you prefer doing voice work to live acting, or is it the other way around, or are there pros and cons to both?
There are definitely pros and cons to both. The thing that I love so much about voice acting is that you were just this one tiny piece of the performance. And then there are people animating wordless emotions that pass across your face, or, you know, like there are all these different, the way the character moves or their face looks is all, you know, sometimes they can base it on, you know, they'll film you while you're recording and they can go, what face was he making when he said this? But for the most part, it's fun because as a voice actor, it's almost like you get to send a little hologram of yourself into outer space. And then you're like, that's kind of me up where I never actually was. I was never in a woods with shape-shifting crystals with shape-altering properties, but it sure seems like I am now, as that's my voice getting shrunk down and getting, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, and
that's
it feels
incredible.
just magical, and there's no, whenever you work on a live-action thing, which is so much fun as well, when you watch it back, you go, oh yeah, I remember that, or oh, we were there that day, or something, whereas your experience as a voice actor is so wildly different from the final product that it's almost like unwrapping a mystery present or something like that, where you're like, wow, that's what they did. I was the flower in that cake, but I didn't know. Look how pretty it is. Look at all that icing.
Yeah, that's a great way to put that. I love hearing that.
It's really like everything coming together on this show, because obviously we have this amazing voice cast, including you, and then we have these extremely talented artists.
Oh
who,
my
like,
God.
if you talked about like wordless emotions passing over your face, if they can't draw it the way that they do, it kind of falls apart, but they do it so well. And Brad Breek doing the music and obviously all the writing and just these, you know, it looks great. It sounds great. It's when you do like a deeper analysis of it, it holds up to a lot of scrutiny that some other shows maybe not. It's like an anomaly unto itself that this show exists in the way that it does.
I completely agree.
Because every part of it was so good, and because it ultimately it ended on the creator's terms, and it ended in a way that satisfied most of the fans. And I'm not going to obviously go into detail about that, but that's generally the consensus, is that it had basically a perfect run.
That's how I feel. I mean, I think they did such an incredible job with the finale, and you know, it's hard, like, especially if everybody would want more, but you're like, okay, if this is how it has to end, it's so nice to have it done so well. But I completely agree. I mean, seeing so many of the people who worked on Gravity Falls go on to be a part of new shows, and like it's almost amazing to think like they were all in one room at the same time, all these absolute geniuses. And you mentioned Brad Breek. It came up on my one of my apps or something that he did the soundtrack for the new Stranger Things cartoon. And so I just started, I haven't watched it yet, but I was just listening to like what he does, and he is just so brilliant. I've like, every once in a while I'll be watching a show and I'll go, oh, the music is creating such a lovely vibe, and I'll look and it's Brad again. I just think he's such a genius, and that skill set to create music and create an environment and do it to picture so that it all kind of works is such a unique skill, and I think he's like the best. It's just so great. And to do it in that Stranger Things, like 80s sort of synth world with his thing. I highly recommend the Stranger Things 85 soundtrack by Brad Brake. That's really good.
I got a couple more questions, and then I think we can go into the episode. So you mentioned, like, everybody wants more Gravity Falls, and that's, like, constantly, anytime anybody involved with the show posts anything on social media, it's like, where's season 3? Is there a season 3? I personally would not want a season 3, but I can also see a world where they are able to come up with, like, an incredible story for it, whether it's the next summer, whether it's like 10 years in the future or whatever. So my question would be, would you want to see it come back in some way, shape, or form other than like the tie-in books that we got?
I love this. I love the whole world of it. I have really enjoyed these things coming out, like the Book of Bill and all, just like on the whole website thing. And, you know, Alex is so great at giving us these like fun adventures and more lore and things like that. And I can't wait for the Gravity Falls art book to come out. I mean, I would be involved in anything. Well, I would be involved in anything that Alex has to do with anything. I just think he's so incredible and such a unique and creative person. But yeah, if he came and he said, I have an idea of a new season or a wildly different thing or a time jump or Dipper and Mabel's ancestors, you know, I wouldn't even I wouldn't even need to be included in it. I mean, I would love to be, obviously, but if there was some thing that came to him, I want to see everything that's inside that man's brain, which we kind of, speaking of going into people's brains, I don't want to spoil anything for today. But yeah, I mean, I think I would definitely be involved in any Gravity Falls thing that he would want me to be in. And, we'll see. But it's fun to have all of these things come out. And, when the Book of Bill came out, Alex was like, can you figure out something to do for this book to promote it? And I, did a couple little TikTok videos, and I was like, this is so fun to just be kind of back in this world and doing stuff and creeping people out. And it's been so nice to see that at all of these stages, the Gravity Falls fandom just like rise up like it never left. It's just like, and there's new people involved, but everyone's just like, oh, we're here for it. Well, yes, we'll get the Book of Bill. We'll get, it's just nice to see that, in fact, Gravity Falls will.
What's a nicer way to say there's zombies rising out of the ground?
I know, exactly. Nicer way to say that they've all shown up. They bloom like
yes.
seeds.
Like a desert, like an ephemeral plant.
Yes. Exactly.
Plant. Annual is probably more apt description. Yeah. But I feel like it never really, Gravity Falls is real and it will never die. It never really died. It's just like, it's not like we're in a hiatus between episodes. So there's no speculation as to like, well, what's going to happen in the next episode or the next season or whatever, because we know that's not coming. But there will always be a Gravity Falls fandom. It's just changing form. It's changing shape.
Exactly.
And it's really cool to listen to stuff like Mystery Shack Look Back, which you were also on. We're good friends with them. And
they're great too.
Yeah, and they're doing something a little bit different, which is they're preserving what it was like at the time.
Right,
whereas we're kind of in a vacuum over here.
I love it.
So, we mentioned it's still going on. It's been 10 years now since it ended. Probably about to be 10 years since Journal 3. And like we said, AJ is watching it for the first time. This will be the first time he is watching Dreamscaperers. So is there any advice that you would give to someone who is coming into this show kind of with fresh eyes all this time later?
No, I mean, I guess it depends on how old they are. I mean, definitely with my daughter, I had to prepare her for some of the creepier elements, some of the different bad guys. But no, I don't know if I would have a warning or anything that they have to know. I would be there and be around to answer any questions. I've learned to kind of step back and allow people to have their own personal Gravity Falls experience. Initially, when I started to get really into all of the secrets and all of the lore and the things in the background that they hid and codes and all these things. There were times where, you know, a parent would go, oh, hey, you know, my son's really into Gravity Falls. And I go, did you notice that, you know, like this thing happened? And they'd be like, oh, I just like it. And I was like, all right, I don't have to be so intense and get into
the
like.
pig is funny. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to like
plush.
Scare them away from the show by making them think they have to be watching it with a notebook and a pencil. Like, I do think it's so fun to have a show that you can enjoy like any other show, and then you can decide how far down the rabbit hole you want to go. And however deep you want to go, it will get that deep.
We all love filming strangers in public and humiliating them on the internet, but after a while, even that can get boring. Step it up with the Brainscraper 2500. The Brainscraper 2500 is a state-of-the-art mind-reading remote that will let you dox anyone you find somewhat annoying before they even know what's happening. Just turn the dial to select what level of consciousness you want to violate, post it to your platform of choice directly from the remote, and watch your online engagement grow and grow. The Brainscraper is enhanced with water-guzzling AI technology that will automatically remove any context that could mitigate your target's humiliation. Does your coworker suffer from intrusive thoughts caused by anxiety or OCD? Not anymore. That's right, Lindsay wants to hit that kid with her car. You may have thought her biggest crime was eating the last donut on Employee Appreciation Day, but an image appeared briefly in her mind of her smashing a chair over your boss's head, so she must be exposed. You're doing the right thing, Susan. That $1 Krispy Kreme donut should have been yours. And that's not all. With proof of employment, teachers can receive 15% off retail price. You'll need those savings after you get fired for filming your students, but you can't put a price on virality. The world needs to know that your second graders have never heard of a Game Boy, and the Brainscraper 2500 is here to help. So what are you waiting for? Order now to receive free shipping and a free protective case. Brainscraper. They'd probably do the same to you. Our guest Jason Ritter was not involved in the writing of this dumb parody ad, and we at Into the Falls are not responsible for you falling for it.
Now back to the show.
Oh, Gravity Falls, it is good to be back.
All right.
Whew.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
You guys probably saw, I totally didn't mute my mic, so you heard every laugh, every drop of the jaw. Like, oh my God, this episode, more than any other this season, took it to the next level.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
we haven't
introduced some characters some very important characters.
When we recorded the first episode, we finished recording. In my memory, at least, the second we stopped recording, he said, "By the way, I know about Bill," and I was like, "Fuck." Like I very loudly swore off mic.
Yeah, you know,
but it's one of those things you can't really avoid at this point.
Yeah.
Being in Tumblr around watching DuckTales, I knew a lot of people who also were really big into Gravity Falls. And so being exposed to Bill was just an inevitability, but knew nothing about him except what he looked like. And I guess that he plays a prominent role in the show for how much he appears in fan art and like promotional material and all that stuff. I mean, you saw me seeing him finally make his first big real appearance on the show. I was like, whoa.
It's a big moment, and he definitely makes a gnarly first impression with those deer teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Deer teeth, for you, kid.
I was like, if Gideon says you're insane.
I know, exactly. Yeah, something's deeply wrong with Bill.
Even before this episode aired, even before we knew that this was like a character, because he always appears in the intro for that one frame. There's a lot of speculation about like, is that going to be important, or is that just like another creepy image? There were like other nicknames for him. Like I think some people called him like Pyramid Steve, Mr. Triangle. Yeah, I don't think any of us would have predicted Bill.
Yeah, Bill Cipher. Yeah, there was a lot of talk about like what was on that. Well, now they call it a cipher wheel, like that little image with all of the hand and the ice and the llama and all that. But yeah, and then you get to see it for longer than a flash in the opening credits when he goes back to where he came from for now.
Yeah, this is the first two-parter that we've had on the show.
Yeah, this is the first time, like we've had episodes end with like a big reveal or something, but it didn't like go directly into the next episode. This is the first time we've seen that.
Like, to be continued,
Yeah.
Not even having a credits tag, it's just landscapes and
they
the
knew
words
exactly
to be
what they were doing, just hanging on that to be continued card and just letting everybody who saw that premiere just like scream collectively at their TVs.
processing
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
And the next episode is fun too. You'll see. But this one, there's something about this one that I just love so much. Also, just getting an insight into Stan's mind and the relationship between Stan and Dipper, kind of having conflicts and then resolving in a beautiful way and in a sad way, too.
Yeah.
Like, can only within the certain realm of relationships. I can't hug you, but I can put you in a headlock, and maybe we can. Love each other across the
really
male chasm.
Yeah.
Because they have this nice moment, but it's in Stan's subconscious, so they're not like actually having that conversation. Like,
right, exactly.
It's all a dream to Stan.
Because it's his subconscious, we know that that's probably really how he feels, but he's never gonna like say that in earnest.
But he can have that moment where he goes, "Nice kid," after the headlock, and give Dipper that little big eyes moment of, this person who may never say like, "I love you, Dipper," is saying it in his way, kind of in the moment of.
Well, and like Land Before Swine, the previous episode, I talked about his relationship with Mabel was at the forefront of that one. Now we're getting his relationship to Dipper, and then that's going to lead us into the season finale, kind of reaffirming all these bonds that they've created over the course of the show.
It's sort of easy to sort of forget that they've sort of been dropped into Gravity Falls and this brand new life with Stan. And with the amount of breaks that we've had, I don't really think about, these two have had a lot of time to bond and really get to know each other and sort of grow this familial relationship. And then you see all that play out on the screen and you remember, these three are like very close knit now. A lot's happened so far this summer.
Yeah, a lot has happened. And it's also sweet, that talking about the characters and the very real sort of emotions. I think everybody has sort of had that feeling of like, it's not overt, but you're like, do they not like me? Or are you picking on me? Or am I making it up? And so it's so sad to have that moment confirmed when you hear Stan just saying like, he's a loser, all this stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, that's such a brutal moment for Dipper. And I also love just like visually that he's walking around Stan's dreamscape with a giant hole in his chest. I just like the sort of metaphor of like feeling hurt.
I do like that. You're not thinking about it because, it's a silly gag at that moment when he gets the hole in his chest. And then this happens and you're like, oh, yeah, that's what that's supposed to represent. I was just screaming in my mind at the screen, like, no, don't walk away. There's obviously more
I know
Stan's got to say.
Is what I would say if...
He's a loser. He's weak. I just want to get rid of him. Yeah. Those are all things people said about me when I was a boy.
Huh? Who writes sentences like that?
Exactly. Oh, I love that.
Oh, gosh. That trope has been so done, but I mean, it's just such a great way to...
They did?
They did.
I told you he didn't want us. Right. Let's get out of here.
The worst thing about it is the little nose punches remind me of myself at that age. Cunning, sharp, resourceful.
One of the things I noticed this time that I hadn't thought of before is how wonderfully Gideon's hair holds up in that rain.
That's true. That makes me wonder, is he wearing hair gel at all, or is that even human hair?
Is that just a solid...
Could that just be...
You think it's a polyester, like, hairpiece?
Could be, or something. I mean, he's very, like, careful about it. He definitely doesn't want to get messed up, but he doesn't seem... I know, like, a lot of people that I've known over the years who, especially older ladies of a certain generation who would get their hair kind of big like that. Like, my grandma would do her hair in a certain way, and then if there was a drop of rain anywhere, by the time you felt it, she was already a mile away like safe in the car. Not one drop can get on a regular, done hairstyle. So it definitely, I was like, oh wow, Gideon,
Was there maybe a spell in Journal 2 to kind of protect it?
There may be. We don't have Journal 2 yet, so there may be some kind of how to get your hair exactly the way you want it, even in
hairspray.
Less than ideal weather situations.
I like the audacity of them to do a commercial where it says opening soon in this location, shows them destroying the thing that's already there.
Yeah, I know.
Come on down to Little Gideon's Tent of Telepathy. Opening soon at this location.
We are sure that it's going to happen.
There's in the Simpsons movie, there's like a commercial where they're creating like a new Grand Canyon.
The new Grand Canyon. Coming this weekend. It's east of Shelbyville and south of Capital City.
That's where Springfield is.
It's nowhere near where anything is or ever was.
So it's that same kind of feeling like this is going to be at this spot and don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh.
The vibe that this episode creates with the rain and sort of the black and white area of Stan's mind, it's very Gravity Falls, and yet it feels so different to me than what we've gotten before the whole season.
Well, right off the bat, when we go into Stan's mind, everything's in black and white.
Because he's an old person.
Their color was not invented yet. Everything was in black and white. That's why all those movies are in black and white. But it also it's a contrast from Gravity Falls itself. Their world it's not necessarily like the super bright, colorful My Little Pony Care Bears world, but it is bright and visually appealing. And we talked about all these beautiful landscapes, and color is part of that. And then suddenly there's no saturation of any kind.
Yes, it's beautiful. All of the artistry in the background and everything in the dream sequence, it's just so beautiful and cool to look at.
It almost brings a sort of like a slight horror slant to this particular episode that no other GF episode has had so far. It almost makes things a little bit more real, which, I love for the introduction of a character as big as Bill Cipher.
This is definitely one of my favorite episodes of the whole thing, just because it sets up in a certain way where the show is going, in almost like a tonal shift that is definitely felt in season 2. But yeah, it has like an Empire Strikes Back ending where you're like, no.
Oh, yeah. I wrote down, this is the Avengers Infinity War of season 1 of Gravity Falls.
Exactly.
That's why Mabel's wearing the sunset sweater. It's like a little bit darker. Obviously, it's still funny, but we have this sad moment of Dipper thinking his uncle hates him. We have a little bit of Stan's. We're quite literally getting a peek into his mind. Like the first thing they see is all these like tattered kind of symbols of childhood. There's like a swing set and like a radio flyer with a teddy bear in it.
His memories of getting beat up on the playground and then sort of years later going on a date and sort of bringing that back around with punching a typical 50s
Greaser.
John Travolta lookalike.
Yeah, exactly.
Something I really loved about this episode is that you've got sort of all these tentpoles. You got the introduction of Bill Cipher. You've got the sort of creepy horror haunted house vibe of Stan's mind. You've got the emotional aspect of his relationship with Dipper and how each other views the other. And they're all perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
And it's absolutely hilarious as well, like every other episode has been. It's a very fine line to sort of balance all of those different aspects and not have one or two of them fall apart, but every single one got their due, and it was just incredible. Just incredible writing.
And I love Zyler and Kraz's personalities coming out and how supportive they are of Mabel and each other.
Mabel is talking. So rad.
It's just so sweet. And that whole fight sequence at the end is amazing. I love, you mentioned Care Bears before. I love Seuss's, little Care Bear.
That was such
stare.
a great reference.
and I also love the fact that Seuss's biggest fear is a British dog man.
Hello. Who's quack for sticking the pudding?
Ah! It's everything I ever feared!
I just love that guy. I don't know who that guy is or what it came from, but I just
had a weird dream as a kid, and it's just haunted him ever since.
Exactly.
It happened to me. I had just a really bizarre dream when I was really little, and looking back, it wasn't really scary, but it scared me because I was a tiny little child. I didn't know how to process any of this, and I slept with my closet light on after that for years.
Oh yeah. Your mind is powerful. I mean, I remember I had a dream when I was a very little kid that I was in this creepy sort of room that had all of these statues, but they would like kind of come to life and move around. For years after that, I would look at statues and be like, I know you're secretly pretty. I also, in watching it with my daughter, not this time that we just saw it, but in watching it with my daughter, it was the first time that I noticed that Battleship game at the beginning was called Conflict Boat. It was just something that I had missed every time.
I missed that. I just noticed the little cat face
that's what you
Mabel
look at.
was making.
But having watched it over and over again with my daughter, I'm looking all around the screen for different little clues, and I was like, Conflict Boat is so funny to me. And also, one last thing, my daughter has all these theories that I love so much because they're it's just interesting to watch the connections that a 6 or 7 year old will make. She's seen all of the show, but like some of her theories are like just sort of unproven theories. Like she thinks that the ear in the opening credits is Larry King's ear that gets stolen by that. That rat. And I'm like,
I'm hopping after a rat that stole my ear.
Hey, I don't know. I haven't actually checked if that's a right ear or a left ear. I think that would probably be my first thing to try to figure out whether her theory checks out or not. But I just love that she's like looking at things and being like, I think I know who this is.
Yeah, her mind is going to the right places. It's turning the right
making
wheels.
connections. Exactly. Yeah. Making connections where there may or may not be, and that's also the fun of watching it for the first time is when you don't know what's coming, all theories are available, which is fun.
Nothing is off the table.
Nothing is off the table until something happens that proves you wrong. All theories are correct.
It never really occurred to me that Gideon would be sort of decided as the big bad of the season. He did have a couple of appearances, but then there are so many other different monsters and sort of other shady characters around Gravity Falls that they give attention to. And so, everybody's on the table until nobody is.
It is so funny that, initially Stan describes Gideon as like his arch nemesis, and then you're like, this kid?
Yeah.
And then as it goes on, you're like, oh no, you're actually, he's capable of doing some pretty bad things.
But at the same time, Stan for a lot of the show doesn't take him seriously. He just hates him.
Yes, exactly.
A lot of the times he's just like, run along, stupid kid.
Nice outfit, Gideon. You actually look less girly than usual.
Even if you didn't know that he had this book and has these powers and is actually planning something like really bad, he's not very likable. Of course, Stan's not gonna take a shine to him. He took his parking spot that one time, and it was all decided in that moment.
I still love one of my favorite lines of the whole thing is,
we seem to have entered a dangerous game of cat and mouse. But the question remains, who is the cat and who is the...
Zeus, broom.
Oh, no, not the broom!
That's funny.
Dan asking for the broom was just so
I
funny.
love
No, not the broom!
Not the broom! No! Wait! He tries to do a little cat thing with them just squeaking out the front door.
We had a family cat who, for some reason, he had to have like some kind of medication stirred into his food. But we had other cats and they would all try to eat each other's food. So we had to keep these cats away from it as much as possible. So I would just grab the vacuum and I wouldn't turn it on, but they knew what it was. So they would run away immediately. And then if they didn't, if they got a little blasé, I would just like kind of press the button so it would make a noise.
Maybe Stan should have brought out the big guns, but I say that's his fault.
Yeah, I'm sure he has those vacuums somewhere. Those things that suck more than anything.
Stand vacs,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Stand vac. It sucks more than anything. Gotta work on that.
He has them somewhere, I'm sure. I'm sure not all of them sold.
Well, I think Gideon probably has a higher tolerance for vacuums because that's all his mom ever does.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's a good point.
One thing, AJ, you may or may not have noticed, one of Bill's first lines when he's introduced is,
"Oh, I know lots of things."
Lots of things.
Our podcast intro has actually been a spoiler this entire time.
Oh, that's where
the one spoiler that she probably knew I would never latch on to.
Yeah,
I say you planted the seed like when we freaking started this thing, and you were like, he's never gonna get this until right now.
I do that a lot. I do it in a way that I don't think you'll notice, and then when it eventually pays off in the show, I plan on maybe like playing that clip back and being like, hey, remember when I pointed this out? But you don't know which one it is because I point out a lot of things that turn out to be very minor.
She's such a fan of this show that she's become just as good as Alex at playing the long con.
I love that. That's amazing. Little breadcrumbs here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, this episode, like, in addition to making it darker, it really ups the ante just as far as, like, production value. Because we've had some really great episodes up to this point, but this is, like, the stakes are higher, and it's more cinematic, and we've got more effects going on, and more, like, shadows, and we're playing with lighting, and, like, the Bill's shadow coming down the wall into Stan's brain, that is so legitimately creepy.
Yes, it really is.
Even when he is making these jokes and like being this silly little guy, it's like that's a supernatural being that's just kind of
that's probably surprised me the most about Bill Cipher. Seeing all this stuff on Tumblr and stuff, him literally casting a shadow over the entire show and its existence and its fandom, and he balances so well that genuine creepiness along with the sort of Kane sort of thing of I'm just a silly little guy.
Yo! Do you like adventure? Activity? Wonder? Danger? Horror? Pain? Suffering? Pain? Death? Disease? Death? Angel food cake?
I mean, he literally says the thing, I know lots of things. Stan Pines, he seems to recognize the name. But also when he sees the three of us in Stan's mind, he says...
Question mark, shooting star, pine tree?
And it's just this creepy thing of like, what is that? What are you doing? Why are you calling us that? What do you know?
Like, what has he associated with the Pines family this whole time?
Yes, exactly. Like
even that picture that he flashes of Stan when he's remembering, I'm like, okay, how exactly do you two know each other?
Right, exactly.
So I was going to bring that up because until recently, I always thought like there's a frame of Stan that appears basically like in Bill's sort of form, like within the triangle. And it looks like he's like screaming and like lunging at something and like his hands are up. And you like just see the top of his head. Until like maybe a month ago, I thought you could see his fez in it. But you look closer, like, no, that's just his hair. So this may be before the Mystery Shack even existed.
Interesting. I remember I think I eventually found something on the internet that like went through all of those flashes that when he says lots of things as I wanted to know what they all are.
They came out like the 10 minutes after the episode aired. There were a bunch.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I eventually found it, and it was just fun to see like what conspiracy theories or whatever else is he just rifling through. What does he know? And it's just another one of those things that's like it lasts for a second. It doesn't really change the trajectory of the show, but it is so fun to go through and just like, see all of the things that he's talking about.
These little things that make him like a little bit creepier. Like when he starts getting mad, instead of just like flashing red, he like breaks into pieces and the pieces fall on the ground and then he reconstitutes as a red angry version of himself. And that's like such a cool thing that I don't know if a board artist came up with that or animation or if it was in the script, but that's like really cool visual details like that come through in a show like this.
His voice changing too is such a creepy thing that they use a couple of times where his voice will just drop into this ominous, creepy tone, which is always deeply unsettling.
Little hints of it is there with his sometimes monotone delivery that just sort of clashes with I'm a goofy little guy sort of.
Yeah, exactly.
Delivery. It sort of brings these two sides that kind of disconcerts you a little bit.
Yeah, he just seems unhinged in a specific way.
He's kind of a microcosm of the show itself because he's able to be legitimately funny and also legitimately creepy and mysterious.
Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And I also just love how Alex took this symbol of the all-seeing eye and the pyramid that is on the back of our money and appears in all of these things, and just made it this character. It's just so smart that now you can just like have this character have existed in the world, and all of those times that you see that, you go from Gravity Falls on, you go, oh no, that's Bill Cipher. He's been around.
Now we know.
Influencing people, and I love that Alex did that, and it's just so I don't know, he's such an aesthetically pleasing character. Is just all of his little sides and his little top hat and bow tie, and creepy eye.
Definitely.
It's always so creepy when Seuss's two eyes go into the one eye.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
so creepy.
That was a great
he makes
reveal,
such
though.
a big impression from the outset. You can't not associate him with the show as a whole.
I did not catch on that Seuss may have been not Seuss in that moment the first time I saw this episode.
That
it really
I had
threw
no
me.
idea.
But in retrospect, like he's standing there saying, "My big fat arms are great at destroying stuff." I'm like, Seuss would not say that.
Are you sure?
At least he wouldn't phrase it that way. He might say, "I have big arms, I can break it." He wouldn't call himself fat. He wouldn't
That's true.
describe himself destroying stuff like so cavalierly. Because when he does, again,
when he talks about it, he goes, "I have a different body type, dude."
Yeah.
Or also with Mabel, he's like, "I think he's talking to you."
Yeah.
Maybe I got fooled because this is also the same guy who, when Stan proposed using him as a human sacrifice in the last episode, he was just like, I like it.
I know.
I think maybe he wasn't.
He is such a
processing
sweet
what Stan was saying.
character. I love Seuss so much.
Amiable is the word we use to describe him around here.
Amiable,
He describes himself that way at least once. Also, another like kind of visual symbol for it getting a little bit darker is at the beginning when Dipper is again like Stan's barking orders at him. He picks up like the Nerf gun or the Yarf gun in their world.
Oh,
He
yeah.
shoots the picture of Stan, but it's like, it's a foam bullet. He's not actually trying to hurt anybody. It match cuts that to a picture of Stan with like a red X through his eyes.
Oh yeah,
Someone who
that
actually
was
does
kind of
want to harm
badass.
him.
I know. I didn't even think about that. Like in that moment, Gideon and Dipper are not quite aligned yet. Like you said, one is harmless, one is very scary, but they're both focused on Stan being a bee in their bonnets. I saw online, someone pointed out that when Dipper goes in to try to get the bat, he's holding a spoon and a saucepan, which are both little Dipper, the constellation.
That is
described as those two things. I don't know if that just happened to be, but little.
It's very serendipitous at its minimum.
Yes, yes, it is. It's such a good episode. I really love it so much.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Also, one little other moment that I love so much in it is it's just because it's one of those. I love when there's something that doesn't move anything forward or backward or sideways. It's just like it just gives you more information about a relationship or characters. And there's something that makes me laugh so hard about.
And now to imagine your worst nightmare. A portal out of Stan's mind. Mabel!
Just that thing of like, it's totally fine, but just that thing of like being annoyed at your sister for just focus. I love that little back and forth.
It's a very good character moment because Dipper would be the one to like take this very seriously. Like he's going to save this guy. He's going to save all of them. He's going to defeat this being. And Mabel is singing karaoke.
Mabel is just like, hero songs.
I know. I'm
going to help you do it, but I'm gonna make it fun.
Yeah.
So it really
synthesized
so
music. It hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
I love that too.
Playlist.
Oh my gosh. I know. And the fact that they like hurt to look at because they're so neon and those guys are like so from a specific era of 80s cartoon television, 80s, early 90s.
Who of our generation is going to be that guy? The one that creates this amazing show and then puts all of the stuff that he remembers from his early 2000s childhood into.
Yeah,
That's a good
I
question.
know. It's cool
AJ, we're now, when we started this podcast, we were a little bit younger than Alex Hirsch was when this show started. We're now older than he was when this show started.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is wild to think about, but you also got to remember that like this was not the norm for a guy in his 20s to have his own show on the Disney Channel. You know, when I was younger, I'm thinking like, oh yeah, like there's no difference between like 25 and 35, just you're an adult. And then of course you get to that point in your life and you're like, no, there's a big difference.
There is huge differences.
It is amazing that a 25-year-old was able to do this.
I know, it was incredible. And he really fought to make the show what it was. And obviously every showrunner cares about their show and wants it to be good. I have never seen anybody, like up to that point, I had never seen anybody care as much as he did and put as much of his blood, sweat, tears, and other fluids into the show.
Somebody writing that off might be just like, oh, that's just youthful gumption. But seeing it come across in the screen, you're like, oh, he cares to an extreme amount. And it shows in the passion that's displayed in the show.
Absolutely.
So I think we got to address the vending machine because it does finally make another appearance in this episode.
Yes.
But
so
Zeus just slams the door before he can reveal anything. You saw it was like, come on.
I know.
If only people knew the truth, that hidden behind this vending machine, I secretly have
Boring.
I saw you in that
moment. I saw you in that moment too. I was watching you because I knew it was coming.
I was smiling a lot watching this because I'm like, oh, AJ's about to see this. I'm like watching him in the corner. But yeah, that was definitely the feeling at the time as well because it hasn't been addressed until now. We saw it in the pilot, but no characters saw that. Nobody in this universe, as far as we know, is aware of it. It's never been referenced since. We've never seen him go down there again.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
definitely
thinking about the vending machine? What if there's not like a grand secret down there? What if that's just like a small room where he goes to like scream sometimes? It's like soundproof.
That it's his panic room.
It's like a tiny
Mary,
little room where, like,
don't do this to me now. Not when I've had this built up in my mind for literally 5 years of us doing this show.
I mean, you know that I've seen the rest of the show, so I know what may or may not be back there. But like, what if it's that?
Well, but like in Brain Candy, where he has that. He asks everyone to leave the room, but maybe that's where Stan goes to go. My empire is crumbling. But yeah, no, I do love that they put that in the show because it also is like a little wink to, even though it's infuriating because you're like, no, we didn't get any answers. They as a show are saying, we didn't forget. We know that this is something that people are waiting for. So
and the fact that Seuss is the character that says boring and slams the door,
I know,
keeps the reveal from happening. He might be Bill at that point, and Bill doesn't need to know this. He knows pretty much everything that he needs to know. He doesn't care about what's behind the vending machine at this point.
All right,
damn, I think you got it clocked.
Finding that out,
right. Wow.
Seuss, I think if he processed that, like, oh, Stan's opening the vending machine and going back there, he might have more questions about it. Because, like, he's absent-minded, but he's not, like, so dumb that if he saw that, he wouldn't question it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And I suppose thinking meta about it, they could have been like, okay, there may have been an opportunity for sort of Seuss to have his own adventure in Stan's mind, and we don't have time for that. So it's like, structurally, we kind of need him to go, nope, boring.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I also love Seuss. It's so moving to me, that moment where he goes I love you as a son.
I wonder what Stan's thinking about right now.
I love Seuss like a son.
Seuss, this is serious.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
we're not going physically inside his mind, but we're getting a little peek into
Seuss's whole deal. Yeah, exactly. That's really sweet.
Things like that, just making him a little more than just Stan's amiable, I guess, punching bag. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I do like that, and they really do give us a chance over the course of the show, and I'm sure you've seen some already, where a character that feels like, oh, I get them. I get their whole thing. You get to know them a little bit more, and your understanding of who they are deepens a little bit. And they do that throughout the show a couple times, and it's always nice to go, oh, wow, I really didn't know this person as well as I thought I did, and now I have a whole different understanding. And it also makes it so great for rewatching, because when you have seen this entire show, this will be a fun episode for you to go back and watch again, because there are little things.
Yeah.
And I won't say anymore.
We got a lot of theories out of this episode, or we got a lot of evidence for theories that may have already existed from this episode.
Yes, exactly.
I love that we saw Stan's date with Lazy Susan. That went terribly.
I know. Now we understand why he wasn't picking up the phone. Yeah. I also love that it was clearly his fault.
Think of a way out. Non-specific excuse.
Oh, yeah.
Any joke with Stan breaking something when he clearly does not need to, I always think is very funny. At least twice this season alone, he's just driven his car through a fence for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
I know. It's so unnecessary to swipe
or like
the tables.
throwing the smoke bomb at the summer ween store.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then
That's
knocking
such
over a telephone pole immediately after. Always good.
It's
Yeah,
so good.
but so many sort of great gag with Stan and with Seuss. Because I went into this thinking, a certain way about Gravity Falls, that it was going to be very mystery heavy, and that I guess maybe that was all it was going to be. But it is still a very funny show.
Yes.
Like, it is still very comedy forward, and some of the stuff they do is just ridiculous, and I feel like it could have sort of North Starred my humor in a way that sort of other things have.
Yes. I know, and I love the humor of all of the shows within the show, like Grandpa the Kid.
They call him Grandpa the Kid.
I'm tired during the day.
I can relate to this.
Those are all so fun. And in the Gravity Falls shorts, there's a couple that are just TV shows and commercials and movies that are really fun to watch as well. But throughout the show, the Duchess Approves, or what is it called?
It was the Duchess Approves, Baby Fights.
Yes, all of those. It's just like my life.
It's just like my life in a way is how we feel about Gravity Falls. Because again, you didn't live through any events like this, but you relate to how they're feeling about it, at least.
Exactly.
I love that we're finally kind of seeing, we touched on this earlier, seeing this dynamic of like Stan comes from this different generation that they don't really know how to exhibit like healthy masculinity, but he is trying, he does care about Dipper. So like in his mind, he's like doing the right thing by him.
Yes.
And in a way it does help, but in another way it makes Dipper think that he hates him. So there's kind of good that can come from it, but it's also Dipper is more modern. He knows that that's not healthy.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just also Stan sort of teaching the only way that he knows how, teaching the way that he was taught.
This helped him in a certain way, I'm sure he felt awful and like all of those things. And then this is something that gave him agency. And it's such a human thing that we all do, which is something works for you and you go, I can help anybody who has a similar problem with the solution that worked for me. And it's just not how that ever worked. And I love that they're able to sort of explain that through storytelling and go, oh yeah, I know that feeling of like, I am trying to help, and it's just not how this person needs to be helped. That worked for me for a number of reasons and doesn't work for everybody.
Totally.
Yeah. I will say Dipper swinging that axe, he can at least do better than I probably could holding an axe. If it was one of those like axe throwing bars, maybe I could do it. If it's like an axe that size to chop wood, I don't think I could do as well as he does.
It is pretty impressive. Yeah. He's like the Thorin, the TikTok guy who just chops wood. Have you seen that guy on TikTok? Thorin Bradley, I think. He chops wood, and it's very impressive.
I'm on TikTok a lot, so the fact that hasn't come across my For You, I feel a little disappointed at TikTok right now.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's come across mine a lot, and then I eventually followed him, and he's great. He's a great guy.
Nice.
I love the
Might
subtitle
have to check
gag.
that out.
First of all, I love that Stan's memories have subtitles.
Oh,
for some reason when he's in the Colombian prison.
Yeah. I know, that's so funny.
Second of all, when the guy just says C and they don't translate that, because the audience knows what C means.
Yes, exactly.
I do like the little touch of like, couldn't translate it directly with my 8 total years of Spanish schooling that have just gone right out the window, but it sounded close enough with what little I do remember that I'm like, okay, they didn't just say gibberish here.
Okay,
Points to Gravity Falls.
I know, it's always disappointing when they just are like, well, we get it, basically. It sounds like this. And you're like, no, just do the real.
So Something else that's really creepy about Bill is like, in the climax of the episode when they're like about to destroy him, he just says enough and everything goes away.
Yes, they're all suddenly in the void.
This is the void. We don't venture out into the void.
Again, he reconstitutes himself, so like, he didn't seem that worried. He just seemed like he was tired of it. So it's like, okay, so he could have stopped all of that at any time, and he was choosing not to. That's
that is an unsettling thing.
Yeah,
like,
he was sizing
more powerful
the kids and Seuss up.
Yeah, and that he just got sick of it.
Threat he was. Yeah,
you're like, oh, he's very powerful then. And we thought we were winning the fight, but maybe it wasn't as close of a battle as we imagined. But we at least annoyed him enough to send him on his way.
It's kind of a sparring.
It's like I knew going in that Bill Cipher was a big, big figure in the show. But I'm sure people that were watching it as it was coming out got that first impression that he's just another silly little villain. And then that's the moment where they were like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think the fact that he was in the intro from the beginning kind of gave us the hint that, like, if he shows up at all, he's probably going to be bigger. There were also people before this episode aired that were like, I don't think he's going to be a character. I think that's just a symbol.
It's just a vibe thing.
Yeah. And there are so many weird things that seem to, like, only appear one. You know, there's not a lot of, especially at this point, there haven't been a lot of, like, repeat offenders. I mean, we've seen Gideon a couple times, but in terms of, like, the gnomes or the wax figures, or, you know, like they're sort of...
Like they're maybe still out there, but we're not...
They're out there, but we're not actively seeing them.
It's been very monster of the week so far.
Never came back from their bike ride. We don't know what happened to them.
3 and 4. There's still I think they've been named Trey and Quattro, I think I've seen.
Oh, yeah. I think it was like Tracy and Quattro, maybe.
Tracy, that's right. Tracy and Quattro.
I mean, we can assume that several times managed to produce another album and probably went on another big tour.
2013!
Candy's theory was that they would not last a week. So does that mean they died, or does that just mean that the world kind of broke them?
That's true. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're out there. Maybe Tracy and Quattro and several times are all hanging out together. And
oh my God, they're making a super group.
They're making a super group.
Yes, I would watch that spinoff show.
I mean, they have a lot in common in terms of.
That's true. They are clones, dog.
Yeah, you know, exactly.
They're just clones from very different means. I like the little stand crab.
That's a little
stand crab.
I know. And the stand bass. No refunds.
Yeah.
I know. I love all those little details.
Oh, and that's another detail that, like, he can't express it because, like, that's Dipper memories are all locked away in, like, kind of a far corner of his mind.
Yeah.
Let people access easily.
There's also still some mystery. Like, you know, I want to know what that, you know, in Fears, what that sewn together arm is all about.
Ooh, yeah.
Reaching out, who knows? He saw a creepy movie as a kid, Frankenstein, maybe, and then he just.
What was he dreaming about when he was saying sorry and like trying
to
push them away?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Before Bill even got in there.
Yeah. There's some interesting objects outside of his hopes drawer. Maybe he wanted to be a deep sea guy at some point, or now I can't remember what was exactly outside, but some weird objects. Anyway, lots of clues everywhere. Some mean things, some are just world building, character building stuff. It's
how
fun.
many of them would they access for season 2? I wonder.
How many indeed?
Great question. And eventually it will be answered. One more thing that we haven't mentioned at all is when Gideon is summoning Bill and his eyes kind of glaze over and he says that thing. What do you make of what he was kind of being possessed to say?
I don't know. I just thought it was all sort of gibberish Latin, sort of like the incantation that the Dipper said when they were going into Stan's mind.
Well, that wasn't all gibberish. I think some of it was real Latin. It just didn't make sense in context.
Yeah.
And then there was Inceptus Nolinus Overatus, kind of one of the few
Inception.
outright pop culture references we get.
Summa cum laude, magnum cum laude, the radio's too loud.
But AJ, that was Gideon speaking backwards. I'm going to share my screen for another minute and show you what he was saying.
I did notice that definitely, and that's going to take a lot of work to, I'm sure there was a lot of people that instantly, like, captured it the best way that they could and then put it through.
Wait till you hear what it says.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
backwards message.
So it's a backwards message.
Backwards message, backwards message, backwards.
That's another great 80s reference. The freaking Basque masking. You know what I'm talking about. Judas Priest saying devilish messages in their song.
Oh, right.
That was a whole subplot in Boys Crazy. We've already had that.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
This is just like a magical version of that.
That's such a great troll to put in the show.
Yeah,
especially for the first person who did that, like, put it all backwards, like, I'm going to figure it out. And then just hearing that is so funny.
Alex, you son of a bitch. Probably what they muttered to themselves, this 15-year-old who's ripping it from the Disney website.
Who just downloaded Audacity and is trying to learn how to use it for the first time just to decipher this message.
They'll get to use it again, I'm sure.
At the end,
we were those 15-year-olds, and we took that and made a podcast with it.
There you go, exactly.
We were. I was 15 when this episode aired.
Wow.
So it took me a while to get to the podcasting part of it, but I did have to learn a lot of technical stuff to actually do this podcast, because I had the idea, and then we started doing it. I'm like, oh, maybe I actually don't know how to do a podcast. But now I think I'm pretty okay at it.
Yeah, you've been great.
At the end, when Dipper has Stan in the headlock, somebody took a screenshot of that, and there was like a popular thing where you would post a screenshot from a TV show of just something weird happening, and you say, like, people who don't watch this show, explain what's happening here. So it was like, people who don't watch Gravity Falls, what's happening in this scene? And somebody said, time to collect that inheritance. And I think about that a lot.
Wow.
Oh, that is brutal.
There's another great one that we're going to get to pretty soon. But it's just
my gosh. That is so, I never saw that one. That's so dark.
I sometimes mourn the loss of the internet from 2012 to 2011 to 2016. That was a magical time.
It was a magical time.
I mean, that is almost exactly the window in which the show was airing. And so kind of a canary in the coal mine once Gravity Falls ends and the whole state of TV changes entirely. There's no more like appointment viewing, really. We're not all watching these episodes at the same time and theorizing about them in tandem with each other, where you're just watching it on your own time and you may or may not engage with people about it on social media. And so that's kind of what made this a unique experience. And so the internet, TV was a different landscape, and so the internet was very different.
Yeah.
Just every form of communication, it's a different world now.
It was fun to have at least a week time between episodes for the theories to blossom, and then the new episode would come out and some of those theories would fall away and some would get stronger, and it was like you really had time for people to dissect every episode in a way that you just wouldn't do if you were binging them all in order, I do feel like, my daughter saw them she just got into a thing where like that was what she was watching. So she would, it was like every night she'd get another one and then it was over so fast. I was like, there was something so special in that time of waiting for the next one.
Waiting 2 months for even an announcement of an air date.
Exactly. And then you get the air date and you wait and you're excited. And,
and your whole week or month revolves around that air date.
Yeah, and then the night that it's there and you're the whole day at work or school or whatever, you're like, tonight's the night, and you get your snacks and so fun.
Oh my God, it was a whole process with me, especially in season 2, because I would watch it in the basement because the TV in the living room, my parents were always watching that one. They would never let me take it over when they were home and they wanted to watch something. So I had to watch it in the basement, and we had this receiver that you had to turn on in order for the TV to work, along with the cable box. And at one point, it just started malfunctioning. And so every time you wanted to watch TV, you had to turn it off and on 15 times just until it decided to work. So I would go down 15 minutes before the episode was going to air, so I would make sure I had time to do that. And there was a very, very highly anticipated episode that I will tell you when we get to it, AJ. But, we've been looking forward to it for a very long time, and it was let's say
middle of season 2, kind of?
Yeah, it was 7:59. I'm like, this isn't working. I have to just go watch it on the computer. It's not ideal. It's not as big of a screen, but I have to watch it as it is airing. I cannot be late to this.
Yes, what a great feeling. Oh, man. Yeah.
I'm sure it felt like the universe was conspiring against you in that moment.
Oh, my God, yes.
Oh, my God, this TV doesn't want me to watch this episode.
I'm like, I'm 17. This is the most important thing for me right now.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun to get on the internet after those episodes. And I remember one of the things that I loved doing was at the end of the episodes, there's those little codes in the credits. And I've always loved cryptograms and stuff. And so I would always just spend like 10, 15 minutes decoding it and figuring out what the secret message is. And I remember the first time the code switches to a whole new thing in season 2, and I was completely lost. I was just like, I don't understand this. Like anyway, and then going on the internet and having people figure it out, and then that becoming the new thing, especially in season 2 for me, was going to the internet and learning myself about theories and other things and going, ooh, that could be it. I don't know. I was not that far ahead in the story as, the creators were. So it was fun as they would air to see what people thought and to help me with some of the codes and things like that I wasn't getting. And
would they clue you in to anything like to help your performance, or did they want to keep you in the dark for as much as possible?
I think he wanted to keep me in the dark for as much as possible. I mean, I think he saw how interested I was and how into the whole thing. And so every once in a while he would give me a clue, but I would miss it completely. He gave me a big clue from the Time Travelers episode. He was like, one of the biggest secrets of Gravity Falls is in this episode, and I was like, I could
People were
not
taking that frame and being like, no, it's like the snowflakes in the foreground. Like you don't even notice them, but they form this pattern. I don't think they actually formed a pattern, but people were so quick to.
Yeah, I was trying to figure. I couldn't figure it out until it came back, and then there's like the things that you figured out and you picked up on as the show goes on, and then once the show finishes, it's such a fun rewatch because you get to actually see all of these things, and something that you totally skipped by the first time, you go, oh, I know what they're doing, which is really fun.
I'm thinking of kind of a lesser used example, but it's from like the end of season 2, so I'm not going to use it now. But it's on my mind a lot, so it will absolutely come up when we get to that episode. But yeah, people were always very quick to figure those things out. I was always seeing it like as soon as the episode aired. I was never the one figuring it out. I'm just like, I'm along for the ride. That might happen, that might not. But the code, half the time I kind of forget to tell AJ the code at the end of each episode. So in my notes every like 5 bullet points or so, I'll write code in all caps so I don't forget. Because otherwise it'll just be like at the top and I'll forget.
I forget. Which cipher are we using this time?
I want to say Visionaire, but I don't remember which one is which, but it's the one with the numbers.
Then that's...
there were 2 number ones.
I can't remember. What the number one. It's maybe just as numerical.
I love the crossed out ciphers in Bill's entry and journal number.
Yeah, I know. That's
Atbash and Caesar.
And what's the other?
Almost a good opportunity for an A113 reference, but they didn't take it.
Oh my god. Oh, in the journal, this is according to the Gravity Falls wiki, in yellow behind Bill Cipher's name is a message that reads, and then it's a code that's not even letters or numbers. It's just shapes, but once decoded, it reads liar, monster, snappy dresser.
Snappy dresser. He is a snappy dresser.
He is a snappy dresser.
Like that bow tie, like that top hat.
He contains multitudes.
The cryptogram actually is kind of boring because it's 20, 15, 2, 5, 3, 15, 14, 20, 9, 14, 21, 5, 4. Once decoded, it reads to be continued, which it also just says in plain text right above it.
I see. All right.
Yeah.
But we got it. We got the answer.
We did.
Yep.
It's important.
It's a double troll.
Yes. Yeah. Backwards
We're
message.
not telling you anything else.
Yeah. You got to tune in. It's I'm excited for you to see the next one. It's fun.
I'm excited to see it. Like this.
Oh, yeah, AJ, did you catch the title of the next one when it came up on Disney Plus?
I did not. Oh, wait. It's Gideon Returns or Gideon Rises or something like that.
Gideon Rises. Your favorite guy. He's going to rise.
Even more so than his hair already does. We are in for it, my dudes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, this was fantastic. Far and away my favorite Gravity Falls episode so far. And I'm sure it will be until the next one, raises the level even further.
Well, thank you for letting me call dibs on this one. It is one of my favorite episodes of the whole season. Series.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I appreciate you saving it, putting it to the side for me.
That's another thing. The reason this took so long is because part of it was that we weren't able to schedule right away, but also like we brought this up a couple of times. I could have easily messaged you and been like, "Hey, we're gonna go ahead and do the episode, but like we hope you'll come on in the future." Like you probably would have understood, but I was being very rigid and like, no, he called dibs, so we're gonna wait for him and we'll record like some other stuff in the meantime. So like the last thing we did was an episode of Glee.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything. We just wanted to watch it. There's like a couple more things in my notes that are kind of scattered, but like I've got Dan kind of having this Bride and Dipper, maybe kind of connects to him in Carpet Diem when they've switched, and Mabel's like in his body trying to be mean, and Stan's like, "Oh, you're finally standing up to me. Like,
all right,
this is great. This is a good thing that you're doing." And I'm just now realizing Dipper would not have known that because that was not actually him in that interaction. So Mabel might have known.
Yeah,
even more.
It's like something that we put in there because we've made it this far already, but being at that point in the season, the connection would not have made sense.
Yeah. I never thought
I've written no outside food or drink in the Dreamscape because Seuss was going to be in those little things. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that ended up panning out.
I love that. You know what? I'm just going to bring him.
Yeah.
What's going to happen if you do?
Exactly.
You can bring that candy into the movie theater. They don't actually check your bag. Like, don't be stupid about it.
I was afraid of that for the longest time. So I would wear hoodies to the movie theater and bring like bags of candy and stuff like that.
I just make sure I don't bring my clear purse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Like every other place requires you to bring.
There's that scene in I don't know if you ever saw that movie Blow with Johnny Depp about a lot of drugs, but anyway, there's a scene that's very tense where he has all of this cocaine in his suitcase and he's trying to make it through airport security, and that's how I felt with like red vines in a hoodie pocket, going through the thing. It's like, oh gosh, what happens if they catch me?
Yeah.
When How to Train Your Dragon 2 came out, my best friend from high school, she and I went to see it, and we bought like a big bag of Rolos at like the grocery store across the street, and then like neither of our purses were big enough to hold them, so we're like opening the bag and just all these loose Rolos, and we're just putting them like in pockets and bags and wherever we can fit them. I opened my retainer case and I put some in there.
No.
Yeah, so we're very proud of ourselves for that.
That's amazing.
Y'all didn't realize those Johns can melt?
Oh no, we knew. We were trying to be careful, but we had to hide the Rolos. The score when Dipper like realizes he can do whatever he wants in the Dreamscape and he's like becomes Superman. It kind of sounds like the John Williams Superman theme. And then of course Mabel
didn't clock
makes
that.
it into a synth nightmare.
Yeah.
And then hamster ball shields. I just love that they were so willing to do the hamster ball shields.
I know. I love that too.
They just immediately went along with it. And then at the end, when the cliffhanger happens, when everything turns out
everything is bad.
Everything is not resetting. Everything is not going back to normal. The sun is also physically going down.
Oh, right.
In their world. That's something I like just noticed. Is like
I didn't even think of that.
Actually getting dark.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is so disturbing to see that wrecking ball just crash through the Mystery Shack sign.
I remember the feeling. Yeah.
That's definitely the moment where everything's bad. Oh, all the Avengers are turning to dust in front of us.
Yes, exactly.
Like, they're probably going to come back from this, but we don't know how, and we're not going to see it for a while. I think we got lucky with this one. I think maybe the next episode aired like a few weeks later.
For some reason, I remember it being closer together than other times, but
maybe they kind of worked out a deal because they're like, hey, it's a two-parter. We can.
Yeah, exactly. Let's give them.
Let's be nice to them for once.
Exactly.
All right, AJ, you got anything else?
No, I'm just really excited to see how this resolves and how they do away with Gideon. And the direction this took really gets me excited for
well, hold on. How do you know they're going to do away with
Gideon? Well,
we don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know
there's a season 2, but there may not be a season 2. They
might all die.
Yeah.
Season 2 might be like
if Avengers had to do Endgame, then Gravity Falls has to do Dipper Gets Pwned. So
sure he does.
I can't wait. I can't wait for you to see the whole thing. I'm so excited for you on this journey.
It's fantastic. It was fantastic talking with you. This is honestly like just one of the best conversations I've had, but one of the best podcasts I've done. So thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. If, down the line next season or something, there's another episode, I'm happy to jump back in.
That would be fantastic. Anything you want to plug before we let you go?
Well, Matlock will be coming back for season 3. Also, there's a movie called I Love Boosters that's coming out on May 22nd. And Lanterns will be coming out in August. And I also have a little thing in the Last of Us season 3, which I'm really excited about. So those 4 things, and that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. This was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Thanks for having me. It was so much fun to talk to you guys, and fun to see it again through your new eyes and through a fellow fan's eyes as well.
Well, yeah, this was really incredible to have. We've had other fans on the show, but like you kind of bring 2 different perspectives for it, because you are genuinely a fan, but also like you were there behind the scenes. Beyond just being like, oh yeah, we got one of the series leads on the show. Like you had some really cool things to say. You had a really cool perspective about this.
Well, no, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. And thank you for being patient with our scheduling.
No, thank you for being patient. I know. So yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, I got to go pick up my daughter from school. But yeah, this was so much fun, and I can't wait to do it again. And I also got to change out of this before I go to her school, so I don't absolutely embarrass her.
I mean, at least take off the hat and the vest.
I will definitely take off the hat, and I'll probably take off the vest as well. All right. I'll see you guys soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
This has been Into the Falls. You can find me at Mabel Page Pines on Twitter and Instagram. That's Mabel, P-A-G-E Pines. I'm also May Page on YouTube and Film Knife on Medium and WordPress. That's where I post my film reviews and essays, editorials, etc. You can follow the show on Twitter at The Falls Cast, all one word, and Into the Falls Podcast on YouTube. And I will hand it off to AJ.
This podcast is hosted and produced by Mary McKeon and AJ Sanchez, and our theme song and some of the music is by Kevin MacLeod. Oh, and follow me on Instagram. And I make YouTube videos sometimes. Unca AJ. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time, trust no one!
If my teenage self knew that I would one day be doing this, I don't know. She would blow up. I don't know.
Just say you'd shit yourself, Mary.
I did not. Maybe.
Oh, that's so funny.